The latest Götterdämmerung update brought in new focus trees for Germany, Austria, Hungary, and Belgium, as well as the Belgium Congo. This has made the playthrough experience of these nations obviously different, but also of the nations surrounding them. Additionally, experimental facilities has changed gameplay up a little bit as well. So since the new update, what nations are easier and which nations are more difficult? Let's start with Germany. One thing that's made the game easier now is with Germany, you now get these decisions to do campaign instructions. This is part of the operational planning focus, and as you can see, it gives you quite a bit of breakthrough in attack. So as you can see, Germany's never been easier. So yes, Germany is, at least in Western Europe, easier than it's ever been. So this is one cool thing. I just got the event to appoint Goering to the inner circle. And apparently if you have him in the inner circle after the capitulation of France, you actually get the Battle of Britain. Now, one way they've made the game more difficult as Germany is with Operation Sea Lion. In the past, you would invade the British Isles and they'd have virtually no one there, and you could just easily capitulate them. Now they actually keep quite a few units on the home island. To make up for this, they added a new focus, Operation Sea Lion, which gives you quite a bit of buffs for doing the naval invasion. So as you can see, it's a little bit more difficult, but with the Sea Lion bonus and operational planning, you can still get the job done. And look at that encirclement. So yeah, it's more difficult, but not impossible. So Germany, overall, much easier. Now there is one area where Germany is a little bit more difficult, and that's because of the way they structure the historical path. When Germany goes down their historical path, they actually lose supply range. This is because the tree is designed to reflect the historical events where Germany was quickly and easily able to capture a lot of the USSR initially, but then had much problems after Stalingrad and later. Now, invading the Soviet Union is even easier if you go down the alt history path to heed von Neurath's concerns and then do war preparations. We're talking about a 30% swing in supply range going the historical route versus the alt history route. For those wondering, this is just the standard 1939 start date I just played. If you need help with Operation Sea Lion, I do have a guide. All I really did was build some radar on the coast, research landing craft so I can send 30 divisions at a time. You can get that in under 100 days through this focus. Then I stacked my Navy in the English Channel, and then rush the airports as soon as possible. Now let's take a look at another nation that's gotten significantly easier thanks to the new update. Italy now is significantly easier, and it really goes back to that Operation Sea Lion dynamic I was talking about. Because the British are keeping so many more units on the main island here, it leaves them exposed here in Africa. So you can see they don't even have enough troops to really fully garrison this front line. And they only have 2 troops guarding the Suez Canal. Easily. Just zooming through here. And then you get this stupid frontline dynamic that happens literally every game. And just like that, incredibly easy compared to what it used to be. And then by taking the Suez, you relieve your supply concern issues over here, and then the Ethiopian front can be easily wrapped up. Really, wrapping up the Ethiopian front shouldn't be this easy. I'm sure when you play the game as the UK, you probably go over here and you click on your subjects and you request forces and you just take all of them every time. As you can see, the AI doesn't do that. But they really should have, because they have a bunch of Raj troops over here, when historically, the Raj is the ones who are manning Western Ethiopia. They're the ones who were able to wrap up and liberate Ethiopia, or the Indian Army. So yes, Italy is much easier due to that. In fact, you can trap the entire British Navy in the Mediterranean if you rush down this focus, and you can do Iberian protection. And then before the war, you can have nationalist Spain as a puppet, and you can actually force them to go to war and take Gibraltar. And then all those British ships are just trapped here. Now, one nation that's gotten harder since the new update came out is the Soviet Union. I can't find the file of the game I was playing. Clearly, this is not the one. Every single time I played a historical game as the Soviet Union, lately the Germans are declaring war on me in January of 1941, which is like 6 months early. So my old strat of focusing more on the economy and then using those 6 months that you normally get to build up my Air Force, I've had to completely scratch that strategy. That and because the Germans get the operational planning bonuses, the Soviet Union is a much tougher challenge. So when you play as them, just bet on the Germans attacking you in January of 41. I did have one game, though, where they just never attacked me at all. I don't know if the AI was scared or if it was a glitch or whatever, but they just never pushed. It was a very boring game. Okay, some last comments about the minors. Of course, minors like Austria, Hungary, and Belgium are much easier to play now. They all have new focus trees, and they're all subject to Paradox's power creep problem, where as long as you deviate even slightly off the historical path, you've taken an overpowered way of playing the game. So these three nations are definitely much easier. Actually, probably most people don't know if Austria is much easier because you probably never played them prior to this update. Outside of these three, however, I will say playing as a minor has gotten just a little bit more difficult because a lot of the great technology you used to play with is locked behind experimental facilities. So now things like radar are a lot tougher to get, even though they're very useful in my opinion. That also means it's going to be very hard if you want to play as nuclear Albania.